type of failure will jeopardize our ability to finish the other Measure A projects in 2000s. So if we want to finish those Measure A projects, we don't have funding to do that. We need to pass Measure B to do it. So it's not clear. And frankly, if they delay this tax now, we have to wait another 4 years for a presidential election cycle to have the voter pool pass 2/3. Remember, 67% have to pass. If we fail, get 64%. That's a landslide. If you get 58% in an election, it's a landslide. But we're looking at getting 67%. It is clearly incredibly popular. And it's structured in a way that we can build it, pay for it, and operate it. So if we lose Measure B, we're going to lose BART in the same time.
Great.
You can't lose something you don't have the money to buy. To be fair, let's keep it quiet for both sides. Okay, so if you have $1 billion in net present value from feds and states, which is roughly right, where's the other $5.1 billion coming from?
Measure A.
Measure A doesn't have $5.1 billion left in it. They've already taken 18.75%, taken that, and put it into increasing the subsidy for the existing bus system. Not increasing service. We have less service than 2000. We're just having higher costs and a higher subsidy. This whole plan just does not wash. And he wants to make it believe that if this doesn't happen, you get nothing. It's just going to be scorched earth all over. And if you read Measure A, the 2001, there are other things in there. One of them is we were supposed to have a train, a commuter train that ran to Fremont that was supposed to open 4 years ago. That connects to BART. So if your goal is rail around the bay, we were supposed to have rail around the bay 4 years ago. And that project has been scuttled in favor of this. Green.
It's just a red herring to claim that there's not the money to build it. We're working with the federal government, we're working with the state agencies, NTC, BART, Caltrans. We have money. The only people I hear talking about don't have money is from Credit Care, so it's just simply not accurate. One of the complaints we hear is about the delays in Measure A projects. Well, that's like an orphan telling the judge, give him a break after he killed his parents. Because Measure A has been delayed because of the lawsuit filings. So if you're complaining about the rollout of the Measure A project, you could have a lawsuit that was just recently resolved a few years ago.
Great.
I'm unfamiliar with the lawsuit. I know a different group, which I am not part of, filed a lawsuit against the Open Space Authority. And I think there's a lawsuit against 1996 Measure B. I'm unaware of a lawsuit with Measure A, and certainly not party to one, so I don't take credit for that. Going back to the basic question, there are other good projects, and we should have a red herring dinner sometime because there's a lot of good stuff in all these red herring projects. One of them is electrifying Caltrain. Gets rid of the diesel emissions and has greater greenhouse gas reductions than his entire BART extension for a fraction of the cost. Another project is improving service over Highway 17 to take cars off that road, which obviously is essentially meant to do. A third is improving Caltrain surface both towards San Francisco and towards Gilroy. That helps a vast swath of commuters in this valley. And the fourth is the one I mentioned. We were supposed to have ACE improvements for Altamont Commuter Express straight from the Golden Triangle to Fremont and commuter rail. And both of those have been stalled.
Okay, this would be for Greg. Why is the VTA waiting until after the election to announce the projects that won't be funded by the 2000 BART tax? Isn't that bait and switch?
I think the simplest reason is that if you tell people all the things that they're going to cut, then you might depress the poll numbers. The VTA was required by the 1976 sales tax measure to tell voters what projects they're going to build. And that's Measure C. If you read the text of Measure C, what you'll see is it asks you to approve a list of projects to be adopted by the VTA in December. They won't tell you what they're going to build. They were required by their own sales tax to give you a list of projects, and they didn't. So I think VTA has an obligation to say, here's what we're going to do with the money. And they won't do that. They're hiding, they have a meeting in December after the election to decide what they're going to cut, instead of telling us up front. It's unconscionable.
Rob?
They need to meet in December to figure out how they're going to go forward, if and when Measure B is passed or not. There's been no decision to delay any Measure A project. Right now, they're just trying to wait to see what funding you have available to fund BART and what options they take if Measure B fails. It's nothing more complicated than that.
Okay, do you want to respond, Fred?
Yeah. There's nothing in the 1976 sales tax law that said, oh, but if you're putting something else on the tax, then you don't have to tell voters. And the law is quite clear. VTA is required to tell voters, okay, here's a list of projects. Is this the direction we should go for the next 5 or 6 years? And as to the sales tax, and VTA has known about this deadline since 1990. They had no trouble getting the other ones on the ballot in time, complete the list of projects. And for some reason this year, they're refusing to. And to me, it's quite simple. They have, as I mentioned, a $3 billion TBD line, plus they lost another $3 billion in sales tax revenues. And that's a lot of money. And a 1.8-cent sales tax, a little over $1 billion, is not going to give them enough to complete their projects. They're going to have to cut almost everything and truncate or scale back BART.
Do you want to respond, Bob?
I simply have no clue where he's coming up with these numbers, to be honest with you. It's just not what has been reported by ACOM. It's not what's been reported by VTA. It's not what's been reported by BART or NPC or other agencies that looked at this. It's not reported by the Federal Transit Administration. So these are numbers that we have no idea where he's coming up with, to be honest with you.
Can I ask a follow-up question here, since it's kind of related?
Yeah, what you need to do is turn that card.
You thought it was kind of related.
Okay, I guess this is your turn, Bob?
Sure.
Okay. How will supporting BART affect the urgent need to electrify Caltrain, remove diesel from all transit, and increase transit in our county?
Funny, the BART extension will have no effect at all on electrifying Caltrain. It's another one of those claims I'm baffled by. VTA already approved $200 million in allocation to electrifying Caltrains. Greg was on the VTA board, and I believe you actually opposed that proposal. And they allocated $200 million. San Mateo allocated $200 million. Where we're missing the funding to electrify Caltrains is San Francisco. It hasn't provided funding. Now you remember, Caltrains is a great system. It's what, 46 miles long. It has 87 miles long. It has 46,000 riders a day. BART is 104 miles long, 370,000 riders. Caltrain services a corridor from San Francisco down to San Jose, and then it goes down to Gilbert. We're looking at providing a transit link on the East Bay through the heaviest travel corridor.